you've made the decision to stay in Taiwan for the long term. Like all of the other foreigners fresh off the boat here in Taiwan, you came to Asia for maybe 1 year to explore, maybe look deep into yourself, even find yourself here in the heart of Asia. But you found after that first year or two, you liked it so much, you're gonna stay for the long term. This is exactly the situation I found myself in about 10 or 12 years ago when I made the decision to stay here in Taiwan permanently, and ever since that moment I've never wanted to leave. But it's not been complete smooth sailing for me ever since making that decision. I've been through many difficult situations where I've regretted my choice to stay, but I've had many more positive experiences that have completely confirmed I made the right decision to stay here. So in this video, which has been very kindly sponsored by NordVPN, I'm going to be doing my best to give you my top 5 tips on how to survive as a long-term resident here in Taiwan. And as I do so, I'll also be sharing some of my personal experiences that relate to what I'm talking about. So even if you're a Taiwanese viewer of the channel and you're not a foreign resident that's chosen to stay here permanently, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this video and maybe learn some things about me that you didn't know before. And for those of you wondering where we're going, we are taking a little bit of a Sunday day trip out to Fengler Sculpture Park in South District to give us a bit of an interesting background for the points I'm about to talk about. Okay, and here we are in the very beautiful and scenic Fengler Sculpture Park. So on to my first point, which is to make sure that you have a job and a career that you are not only completely satisfied with and very happy to go to work with, but also try to find a job here in Taiwan that gives you some kind of career development. I worked for 12 years in a cram school as an English bushy band teacher in a job that I absolutely loved and I really enjoyed going to work every day, but there was not and still is not any career advancement for bushy band teachers here in Taiwan. And this led me, and I'm sure many others, to feeling somewhat wasted at times. All of my friends that have succeeded in long-term teaching jobs here in Taiwan have done so either in high schools, government schools, or university jobs, or indeed have set up their own bushy bands that have then gone on to become very successful. And if you are in the teaching field, which many foreigners are here in Taiwan, I feel that it's very difficult to become incredibly financially successful and secure in a cram school teaching job. I know money and financial success are not the be-all and end-all, they are not the most important thing in life, but your career and your job are going to be the foundation of your life. So if you're feeling at all wasted or like you're not maximizing your potential in a particular job, then it's going to really have a massive impact on your quality of life day to day, whether that's in work or indeed out of work. So if you do plan on staying here long term, my advice to you would probably be try to find a job that allows you to progress through your career and avoid that feeling of stagnation that can be so easy in a job where you have no options of being promoted. Because to be honest, as it did in my case, it will lead to a feeling of resentment somewhat and probably will end up with you looking for more or wanting more from your job. Second point, as I mentioned in my top 5 regrets video, one big regret I have from my life here in Taiwan is not saving more money during the early years of my life here in this wonderful country. Yes, I was young and I was earning a lot of money and I was spending a lot of money enjoying life with my girlfriend, and to that extent I don't regret it too much. But as this video is aimed at giving advice to those people who are looking to build a long-term life, I would definitely recommend a little more balance towards saving rather than spending during the early years of life in Taiwan. Taiwan is a great country that pays foreigners very well with low taxes that allows us to have a lot more expendable income than maybe some other people would. But when things inevitably go wrong, as they tend to do in life, there's not much of a social welfare safety net. And there have certainly been times in my life in Taiwan when I really could have used a little bit of a safety net, and during those difficult times I have certainly wished that I had made a few more smarter financial decisions that would have now given me a little bit more financial freedom and less financial pressure. That could probably give me the opportunity to travel more often to see William, or spend more time in South Africa when I do go to visit him. Or perhaps in a very Taiwanese or Asian cultural style of way, I would love to be able to send more money home to my parents as they get older. I'm not poor in Taiwan now, but I really think if I'd saved a little bit more money and been a little bit smarter with some investments maybe during the early years, then I could probably say that I could be wealthy. Is that right to say? I definitely could have made myself much more comfortable with a few smarter, more wiser decisions several years ago. So if that's you, a couple of years into your life here in Taiwan, having just made the decision to stay here long term, and you've got a few $100,000 sitting in your bank that you're wondering what to do with, then setting up a meeting with a financial planner at your local bank would definitely be a wise financial decision in my opinion. Now, talking of money and making smart financial decisions, this brings me to today's video partner, NordVPN. And I am actually going to promote their service as my third top tip as to how to survive for the long term here in Taiwan, as using a VPN is not only something that is becoming more and more normal in expat life all around the world, it's actually something that's becoming more and more necessary for expats for many different reasons. Now, of course, the internet is a fundamental part of life for everybody all around the world. But when we make the decision to stay here permanently, the internet becomes a vital connection between us and our families back home. And as such, staying safe and secure whilst online is of paramount importance, which is one of the major benefits offered by NordVPN. If you follow the advice in my second point and make some smart investments at your local bank, then you're probably going to want to track them using online banking, which NordVPN will help you keep safe and secure using all of their fancy encryption software. And if you start missing home, as I often do, then NordVPN is going to allow you to change the IP address of your computer to hundreds of different locations all around the world, which will allow you to access online content that may be otherwise unavailable to you here in Taiwan from online streaming platforms such as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, or indeed my personal favorite, the BBC's iPlayer, which allows me to watch match of the day football highlights every Sunday morning, which would otherwise be geo-blocked to me here in Taiwan. Now, these reasons alone should be enough to encourage you to head straight to the link in the description below and get NordVPN installed on your computer as soon as possible. But as well as all of these awesome benefits offered by NordVPN, they have also decided to offer all of my Life in Taiwan viewers a limited time only special discount deal in order to celebrate International VPN Day. So head directly to nordvpn.com/lifeintaiwan to enjoy a massive 73% discount off their 2-year plan and an extra 4 months completely free on the house, and start enjoying these benefits of NordVPN immediately. And whether you want to use it on your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop, your PC, even your smart TV, then NordVPN have got you covered, as each account is able to use on 6 different devices. Go check them out and tell them Life in Taiwan sent you, because I'd really like them to keep supporting the channel and enabling me to make content as often as possible for you guys. Thanks to NordVPN, thanks to you guys for listening to the sponsorship. I'm hungry, let's go get some food. And for food, I've come to my local lunchbox buffet restaurant and picked up myself a nice pork belly, rice, vegetables and egg dish. Just take a look at that. Filling, delicious, healthy. So good. Now, let's talk point number 4, which is how I believe for a long-term, successful, happy life here in Taiwan, you must establish at least a few close connections or relationships and make some Taiwanese friends, as opposed to having a completely foreign or Western circle of friends. It may seem very obvious to some people that have never been here, but I believe the vast majority of foreigners that I meet here actually don't have any very close Taiwanese friends to count on. Prozzy and I actually discussed this point on his channel a few months ago about how it's quite difficult and the reasons why we struggle to build close connections and relationships with Taiwanese people as friends. But I've been quite lucky to have 2 or 3 really good close Taiwanese friends that has benefited me greatly over the past 13 years. And before you comment, I'm not talking about any romantic relationships. I'm talking about a few Taiwanese people that really, if push came to shove and I needed their help, they would be there for me in a heartbeat If I called upon them, foreign friendships are of course important too, and I've got a close circle of friends with people from all over the world that are absolutely there for me, and I can count on them, and they are also dependable most of the time. But the one big problem with foreign friends in Taiwan is that they leave. Whether it's this year, next year, or in 5 years' time, eventually most foreigners in Taiwan come to the end of their Taiwanese journey and go to find pastures new. It happened to me back in 2018 when my closest best friend had an emergency situation and just had to up and leave, take his wife and his kid out of Taiwan back to South Africa, and I was just left high and dry with my best mate suddenly gone. And although I did have other foreign acquaintances to spend time with, it was actually a really close friend that I'd met playing poker here in Taiwan that I spent most of my time with, and really helped me to feel like I had somebody to count on. Basically, my advice to you is make sure you've got some Taiwanese friends that are really rooted and grounded here, and that will in turn help you to put roots into the ground here in Taiwan, ground yourself, and really feel like you're part of the Taiwanese community and not part of the foreign bubble that so many foreigners spend their time in. The final point I'm going to make on this topic is something that is surely going to get people angry and scolding me in the comment section, because it's something that I've never done myself and often make excuses about. I feel for long-term success and happiness here in Taiwan, it is imperative to attend Chinese classes and get your local language skills up to a standard where you can just express yourself, express your emotions, and just be yourself in the local language. One of the biggest obstacles I still face after 13 years here in Taiwan is that I cannot express my emotions in Chinese, and when I do speak the local language, I feel like I appear dumb or stupid or of lower intelligence than I am when I speak English. And I get serious language envy when I see a foreigner that's only been here for maybe 1 or 2 years but has attended Chinese classes as early as possible when coming here, and I see that person speaking more eloquently and fluently than I could ever hope to do, and I just tend to sit in the corner of the room with my tail between my legs, regretting the fact that I didn't attend Chinese classes as early as possible. If I could go back to 2008, then the first thing that I would do would be to enroll myself in a Chinese class and get those tones right before developing the kind of Chinese that I've developed now, which is almost ununderstandable to the locals. But no excuses, never say never. There is always the time and opportunity to do that in the future. Or indeed, there is always time for me to meet the Taiwanese lady of my dreams who will beat the tones into me if I'm lucky. But yeah, if you're watching this and you've been here a couple of years and you're still thinking about whether or not you should enroll in Chinese classes, do it. Go for it. Sign up for Chinese classes. You'll thank me in 10 years' time when you're as fluent, or perhaps even more fluent, than the locals around you. So there you go, there's my 5 points. Let me know if you agree with them, disagree with them, or in fact if you think there's something more important that I completely missed out. Whatever you've got to say on the video, as always, please leave your comments in the comment section down below. And if you are still watching this video and you haven't hit the like button yet, what are you playing at? It's obvious you've enjoyed the video, you've stayed this long. Do me a favor, help the channel out, hit that like button and help promote the video to more people, and let more and more people see my content and share my life in Taiwan. It would be much appreciated, and I love you forever if you do it. Before I go, let me quickly remind you of that NordVPN deal that I offered you up in point 3. It really is a useful service, and with that 73% off a 2-year plan and 4 months extra service additional on top of what you've already paid for, it really is a small price to pay for online security and that extra peace of mind when using the internet. Not to mention, they also have a 30-day money-back guarantee if you find that it's something that you don't want, so really you can't lose. But I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support, but time to say goodbye. So as for now, and as always, I'll see you next time in My Life in Taiwan. Peace!